Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of Straight Up Show Podcast. I am your host, Calvin, and this is a special episode today. Very personal. This is a family affair. No, I'm not talking about my straight up family. I think you all get enough of them. I'm just kidding. I miss y'all out there. Thank you so much for your hard work. But today is very personal. It is involving my family. And if you're a fan of our show, you know that I always talk about my grandmother, how she played a very pivotal role in my life. And if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be here today doing this podcast for a number of reasons. And we're going to talk about them on this episode. Today's guest, it's I don't know how today's going to go, but it's going to go today because we are associated with my grandmother. Back in the day, me and my sister, we often stayed with my grandma. So she is a big role for our family. So today's guest is my family. Our grandmother is no longer with us. Bertha Hamilton was one of the best women I've ever met in my life. Also much to her. And if you hear our show, we're very big on voting. If you don't know my grandmother, for those who are not listening right now, she was really big on voting. So that's one reason why we push voting, because it's people like her that had to struggle to vote that made voting important, that made us realize how important voting was. So today's show is dedicated to her. She's no longer with us. She's been gone almost 6 years, maybe. It could be longer than that, but we'll get to that here in a second. But today's guest, I have my family. I have my cousins and my sister. I call them my sister and my brother because there's only 8 of us in the family. So 7 of us now, but we're going to talk about that. Today's guest, we have a couple people who've been on the show before, and we have some new faces. One that has a face, but not a real face digitally for some reason. But we'll talk about that right now. So without further ado, help me welcome my cousins. Everybody just say hey right quick. Just say hey. Hey. And guess what? We are all the seed of Bertha Hamilton. And 27 years ago, back in September 23rd, 1995, we had a special party called Grandmommy's Grandchildren Party that she threw just for her grandchildren. So she's gone, but you know what? We still want to celebrate her because this week is her birthday. So we want to give a special shout out to Grandmommy for her birthday today. Not today, but this week. Celebrate her this week. So let's go down the line right quick. Let's kind of get familiar with who these people are, who are my cousins, who are my sisters today. So let's start out with the number one grandchild. Desmond, tell us about what's your name and what order are you?
I'm Desmond. I'm the oldest grandchild, the oldest child out of my mother and my father. Am I supposed to give like an early memory of grandmama?
Not just yet. We'll get to that here in a second. No, but Desmond is one of those familiar faces on our podcast. I don't know if he knows that he's probably on every episode because he's one of our commercials on our commercial. But I don't know if you knew that, Desmond, but you're on almost every episode of our podcast. But he's been on the Chadwick Boseman episode. He's been on the teachers going back to school when COVID happened. Desmond's very knowledgeable, and I consider him like my big brother. So Desmond, thank you so much for coming on the show.
You got it, man.
I appreciate that. Next up, we have Sean. Sean is the face that we can't see you right now. But Sean, tell us who you are. But Sean, just tell us who you are. Just tell us who you are. You're the number what grandchild?
I'm Sean, the second born grandchild, first girl in the family, the most responsible.
Find a lot.
She's the most responsible, but Brandon should use your catchphrase. You're welcome. And so Sean, all right, she's there. We promise you, she's there right now. She's just in a rabbit hole hiding right now. So, all right. So, all right, this is going to be a fun episode. Up next, we have another familiar face of the podcast. Tiffany, what's up? How you doing?
Hello. Doing well.
Like we had two people before you, Tiffany. This is a pattern. You should know what to do next. You're like the third person to introduce yourself, Tiffany. Can you tell us who you are? What number grandchild are you? Jeez.
Number 3.
Okay.
Oh, there she is.
I'm in my family the only child. Um, I'm the responsible one because I'm the only one. So
Wow. Can't believe she just said that. Wow.
After me, Sean, and then Tiffany, has any of us ever kept up with the order of like who's the next grant?
If we
Which
can,
grandchild?
I am.
if we can be honest, like I always get Tiffany and Dominique confused for some reason.
no, Dominique's after me, then it's Elizabeth.
It's 85, 86, and 87. I remember.
After Dominique, Tiffany, and Aliska, like all three of them, I don't know which one of y'all was born first.
Christine, Calvin, Thorne.
Mhm.
Catherine, my sister. Catherine. My mama didn't have 8 grandkids. She had 9. Catherine.
Yeah. So they just totally messed up the order, but it's okay because I was trying to go down the line. But up next, we have somebody that's not here, that Dominique. She is the 4th grandchild out of 9. I said 8, but 9. Think about Catherine. 9 grandchildren. Dominique is number 4. She's not here. She's very talented, great. The singer of the group of us. I don't think anybody else can sing. Dasmine can sing a little bit, right? Dasmine got some soul. Dasmine got soul. What you talking about? Dasmine got soul.
Dang, like what you talking about?
Wow.
I don't know what you're talking about at all.
Dasmine,
Money
hey,
too.
Wow.
Karaoke or something.
Dasmine, I'm a fan of your
That's
voice,
wrong.
Dasmine. Don't let these haters let your haters be your motivators, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I got you, bro. Don't worry about them.
He's
And then
somewhat of a comedian. That's all.
jeez.
Wonderful.
Man, y'all just
He is a wonderful comedian.
wow. Look, that's like my big brother, man. I got your back, bro. Don't worry about these haters. Don't worry about them. I know you can blow, man. Don't worry about it. Anyway, up next we have my actual sister, Aliska. Aliska, what number are you?
I am number 5. My name is Eliska. I'm number 5. I'm the oldest of 3 children. I have Calvin's my little brother, and my big sister Catherine is is the baby in our family.
All right. So, and then up next would be, and I'll take it, but up next we have a person that's dear to all of us, and we're gonna take a second to kind of give a shout out to her. But the next in line is Christine. Man, if anybody, if Grandmommy had favorites, let's be honest right now. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Like, it was Christine.
Yeah.
I would like to say that she was like my tag team partner. Sadly she's no longer here with us. But Christine, y'all, let's just go around the table. Let's kind of give some kudos to Christine right now. She's no longer here with us. Let me start with Sean. Like, Sean, just kind of tell us how special Christine was to you.
Well, Christine was my youngest sister. She passed away when she was 7 years old. She was for sure Grandmommy's favorite. She was really smart. Her favorite song was "Yes, Jesus Loves Me," and
She like Barry White.
she did. She loved Barry White, and also what was that? Give Me One Reason. The Fear song.
Telling me this and telling me that. Once you go, she loved practice what you preach.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she was like,
she
was like 7 years old. Like, Christine, you don't know what the song about. I don't care.
She liked eating hot dogs with ice cream. It's weird.
It was weird.
I don't remember that. How did I not remember that?
Speaking of hot dogs, you have to like sharing her food with the dog.
I remember the diaper incident.
Oh yeah.
Oh, let's not talk about that.
So many incidents.
Yeah. Dasmine,
Sounds mandatory one day. I'm just gonna say that. A toddler.
Yeah, Desmond, if you can speak on your sister, what can you just tell us about how special Christine was to you?
Well, one memory that I had of her that won't be too sad. I was 14 when she died. She died. She was 7. She was 7 years old. But one memory that wasn't at the moment fond, or when I look back at it, as the oldest, if all of us cousins and my little sisters and my little brother are all in like the living room with the TV, I could be sitting there on the corner on the couch, not saying nothing. And if all y'all loud, grandma would call in the room, Desmond, be quiet. I ain't said nothing. If something's going on or I'm trying to have my way, or if anybody's trying to have their way and Christine's not getting her way, and we at grandmama's house, she gonna run go tell grandmama and run back and say, Grandmama said I can watch this.
She did get what she wanted all the time.
Y'all let y'all let Chris do this. Let her watch Blues Clues or whatever she be watching.
Barney.
Barney,
Oh yeah.
Blues
Oh, I hated
Clues,
Barney so much. I
Eureka's
love that show.
Castle.
Her and Dominic singing that song. Oh, and the sisters song. It was so
Uh,
annoying.
Was that the one from was that the one from Lamb Chop Play On, the sister song?
Oh, that song was so annoying back then.
was it on Lamb Chop?
Man, no.
See, now we going down another path.
Oh,
We
the
don't want
other
to know.
one. This is the
My
sun
childhood
that's
favorite song.
rising.
Oh, that one.
Yeah,
No.
I
that one.
love Christine, and it took a long time to try to like get over her passing because for just a little bit she was the youngest, and from the day she was born she had surgery because in the womb her heart wasn't fully developed. So the day that she was born, she had surgery, and like periodically, whenever my mama and my dad would have to take Christine to a hospital that wasn't in Shreveport, it would be like around the weekend or something like that, and we would all like all my siblings, and a lot of times it might even be Calvin and Liska and Tiffany. All go over to
Okay.
be coming together, and I think that's one of the major reasons why grandmama had that
Party.
decided to throw that party, the grandmama's children's party.
Yeah,
It
I
was
didn't.
really about grandmama and it was about Christine.
And that's it. You're absolutely right. They had that party because you know, we knew Christine wasn't gonna live long. Christine knew she wasn't gonna live long. And if anybody ever made every day of their life count, it was Christine. At 7 years old, she
He was a
just
straight A
left
student.
such a mark on people's lives. She orchestrated that party. She actually orchestrated another party where grandma meets neighbors, some church members, just like a little lunch right before her last surgery. And those women just ate that up. They enjoyed it. They
That
had a
was the
good
tea party,
time.
right?
It was the tea party that
Mm-hmm.
she organized. And she knew she wasn't going to live long. She just wanted to do her best because she knew we were going to be hurt. She did her best to try to protect us and make us feel comfortable. And that's what that was about. You know, her and grandmommy did have a special bond. I mean, I couldn't imagine having a grandchild knowing that she's that sickly and she's not gonna be with us for long. But she was given 5 years and we got 7. Um,
Yeah,
and she made it count. I'm 35 years old and I was 9 when she passed away. And I can pretty much remember every interaction with Christine. She was like my best friend, my first best friend.
thank you, Alaska. Tiffany, what are some of your memories of Christine?
Mm, just playing together. Um, oh, my favorite memory of her is once we were sitting in the back of my mom's car and we were trying to figure out how to learn how to snap our fingers. And the way we did it was different than, I guess, the normal regular way. that people normally do it. We did it with a different finger, and since then, it's exactly how I still snap because it reminds me of Christine.
Let me see. How do you snap?
No, it's like instead of using like
Yeah, you
these
do.
fingers,
No,
use
you
these
do
two
this.
instead. Yeah,
You do this. It's, I can't take y'all seriously. Snap, right.
hey, it works.
But your
Uh,
daughter, she knows how to.
Mhm.
uh, yeah.
That's
Um, in some ways, Lorie kind of reminds me of that sassiness that Christine
Yeah.
had.
definitely. And I think my daughter too. I named her Christine. Maria has Christine's middle name. Christine is her middle name, and her voice when she was little. You remember how raspy her voice was?
Yeah, Christine had a real scratchy, raspy voice.
Mhm.
Also,
That's sorry.
um, till this day, I think like all of us owe like Christine a whole bunch of Happy Meals still. Because we keep telling her, if you do this or let us have that other half of that Whopper, we'll buy you a Happy Meal when we get older.
Yep,
Oh,
I
we
remember
do.
that.
Cause she
Yeah.
was,
Controversy.
Yeah,
she
that's
fell for it every time.
We
yeah.
weren't that much older than her, but we weren't bad. Okay, we were just kids being
But
mischievous.
y'all,
I
but
remember. I remember. Uh, just she was like my tag team partner. We were born the same year, and we like they all can tell you I was the troublemaker of the whole group. Like I always stayed in trouble. I don't know why, but like I felt like when Christine was like my tag team partner, and
Mhm.
then it was just me and her all the time. Our birthdays were the same year. We always celebrate. And I've never told anybody. This is right now. What you're about to hear is something I've never told these to my cousins. I call them my brother and sister because it's only 8 of us. So I told them I've never told y'all this ever. So I have a big imagination, hence the podcast. Uh, but when I used to think about all 8 of us, I always thought we were like the Captain Planet Planeteers. And like, I mean, for real, like we all had like Dasmond was Rock because he was always the strongest and the solid one. Sean and Dominique
you mean Earth?
are, you know what I mean. But
you just
but I'm
age.
just like we had our own different kind of. I always saw us as superheroes, and like in
Wait,
Chris.
are you Heart?
I wanted to be
No,
hard.
no, I wasn't. No, because and hear me out right quick. I always thought that Christine was Hart because that's how
Mhm.
she passed away. And she was never mean to anybody. She always had a lot of heart, and she didn't know a stranger. So like she was always, in my opinion, she was always nice and always
I
showed that.
love
I knew
Christine.
her.
She was
Mom
not
did
always
too.
nice.
Petty.
She
He
was
was
always nice to
She was
me.
manipulative.
sassy. She was sassy.
It was messy. Do
Hmm.
y'all know? Do
And
Christine
you
you
remember?
slapped
remember
me in
this?
the face a
You
couple of
know
times.
how many things she stole from me throughout our childhood? How many toys I got that her and Dominique would go and do
Oh,
little
y'all always
experiments
tore something up.
on?
You tear my comic books up.
Well,
I love
anyway,
that.
Well,
so getting back to the point, like Christine, in my imagination, I always thought that she always carried a ring with her, and it was heart because she had so much heart, even though she was young, and even though to the day she passed away, she was still fighting. So, like, she had a lot of heart. So I always thought she was my superhero, and we were all Captain Planeteers, and she was the one that had heart. And so, like, shout out to Christine, and we definitely love her, and it is not a day we don't go about thinking about her. So, Christine, if you're up there, baby, we love you
Yeah, we
out
love
can
there.
I
you.
ask a quick question though? This is for Tiffany. Is her name still written on Lori's floor in the
And then,
garage?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
still there.
That was
Right.
something
It's
that
there.
we didn't do. And the transition to this right quick, there's two more that's younger than us. Of course, I'm next in line after Christine, but then we have Thorn, and then I really felt like when Thorn was born, he's kind of like the unexpected baby, just like out of nowhere, just and Thorn, he's not here, but Thorn is the youngest out of Dasmond and Sean and Dominique, but I think Thorn quickly became like my new tag team partner after Christine passed away, and it kind of felt like she was like, all right, well, I'm passing the torch to Thorn now because now y'all about to wreak some havoc, and I think Thorn he's very the Dad was comical, but Thorne definitely was one of the biggest comedians in our family. He is the one of the biggest comedians in our family. He's not here, so Thorne, shout out to you, and thank you for everything. But we're gonna talk about how much we helped Grandmommy out and how much she helped us out on the other side of the break. Make sure you stay tuned. Straight Up Show podcast.
Here at Straight Up, we know that all lives matter, but historical events have shown that there is an inverse power dynamic between the races in our country. To highlight this, we present our Black Lives Matter merchandise. Because let's be real, some of you don't seem to understand that this isn't the organization, but a message. That message: end inequality towards minorities in America. And just in case that's too complicated for you in English, we have the phrase translated into 10 different languages. Visit straightupshowpodcast.com for this and all our other merch. That's STR8 showpodcast.com. Shirts as low as $19.99.
The videos and images displayed all across the world cannot fully express what the people of Ukraine are going through. This senseless act of terrorism has cost many their lives and forced millions of Ukrainians out of their homes. Yet it's the Ukrainians' pride and resiliency that has inspired the entire world. So we here at Straight Up ask you to stand for freedom, stand for human rights, but most importantly, join us as we stand with Ukraine. All right, welcome back to the Straight Up Show podcast. This is a special edition of the Straight Up Show podcast. This is the Grandmommy's grandchildren party. Oh man, 27 years later, we're celebrating Bertha Hamilton, our grandmother. Today's guests, we have my cousins and my sister, but like my brother and my sisters, I love them all. Today we have Desmond, Sean, Tiffany, and Eliska. And if you look very in the back, you can see my nephew in the back, Tristan, on his cell phone. But we have a family affair right now, and we're talking all things about our grandmother, who has played a very pivotal part of our lives. And not just our grandmother. If you have a grandma out there that really impacted your life, celebrate them, because they may not be here right now, but they have definitely made an impact on your life. I think that grandmothers like Grandmommy, which we call, why do we call her Grandmommy? I never figured out why not Grandma or Grandmama? Like, Desmond, did you start that? Like, why do we call her Grandmommy?
I think that it's not only me being the oldest and me calling her grandmommy and her never correcting it. So, because like my mama is a grandmother and she picked out what she wanted to be called by Thorne's daughter. And I say grandmommy. Everybody who was born after me says it. Whenever our parents is like, go tell grandmommy, they're repeating it. They're calling her grandmommy. So
I used to feel kind of subconscious about it, like, grandma. We're not grandma. Like, that's not more like urban. You know what I mean? Grandmommy. Like, I don't know. That's just weird for me. I'm just weird like that. You don't ever hear black people saying mommy a lot. You know what I mean? Like,
that's one of the things. It's like I just didn't care. It's like that's our thing.
Yeah, it's our thing, you know. But Grandmommy definitely was special to us all. Man, let's talk about this, like, because if one thing that kind of makes us whole right now, our grandparents, they kind of held down a spot for us, and it's in our hometown right now. I'm gonna tell you, right, because some of y'all are kind of creepy. But the biggest part about Grandmommy and our grandparents is that we had that house, and that was my earliest memories of Grandmommy's house. Like, if you need something, Grandmommy's house. If you need somewhere to stay at, Grandmommy's house. Like, Eliska, what was one of your biggest, earliest memories of Grandmommy and everything?
You know, Mama had me as a teenager, so Grandmommy had me a lot, had us a lot. One of my earliest memories of Grandmommy was her taking us to church and getting ready for church on Sunday mornings. I used to hate waking up that early, but Once I was up, But I remember the smell of the gas stove, of her cooking us some grits and eggs before church, or her watching like Lawrence Welk show on the Saturday night before church. Everything revolved around church. It's one of my earliest memories of Grandmommy. Um,
And
yeah.
and it is crazy because like every time we went to church, what's the one thing we look forward to after church?
Oh, we got the Whopper, the 99-cent Burger King Whopper, or if it was real good, if it was real, if it was real, if you was lucky, Ryan's.
Ryan's,
Man,
Right.
man.
boy.
Ooh, if we went to Ryan's after church on a Sunday, man, that was the best thing of the week. That was the highlight. That was
And,
definitely the
and for our international friends or people that's not of the South, I don't know if I have a Golden Corral, but Ryan's is equivalent to Golden Corral, but much better. So just giving y'all a point of reference. Ryan's was the biggest American steakhouse that is
or
just is missed. R.I.P. to Ryan, man. We got to pour one out.
R.I.P.
Pour one out to Ryan's right quick, you know.
them little drumettes and that ranch. Oh, you even had a salad until you had a Ryan salad.
No, that was Lorie. Shout out to Lorie, one of our sponsors of the podcast. Lorie would not let you eat any regular food until you had a salad. As you can see, Lorie, that failed. So that's good.
Well, she sure wouldn't let us have nothing without the salad.
You couldn't do, man. And those Ryan's drumettes, oh man, the rolls, bro.
I can't even fry it on.
I've never seen
Yeah,
miniature chicken legs until Ryan's, and y'all just don't even know. So,
honey butter. Honey butter.
yeah, man. So Tiffany, what was one of your earliest memories or one of your best memories about Grandmommy?
Just like the simple things, like just being at her house, because I used to go there a lot when, let's say, if I was sick or we were out of school, but y'all weren't because I was year round. Um, just like how she'd always have that big cup of water that was like always the best, or how she'd make the best lemonade just like with the simple ingredients, or how she would take us to the store and be like, okay, y'all go get some donuts, and or every year she'd take us to Sears to go get us our back to school outfits, clothes. And also till this day, I always hear her in the winter, gotta go get our coats. I
Yep.
always remember it. Grandmommy, she would tell us to go get our coats, and how that when we had our kids, she was getting our kids their coats too.
And she did. She did. I still have my kids' coats. None of them.
And she was still getting
She
us
don't.
coats too, even though we had kids.
Like, I'm grown.
Grandmama was queen of put a hat on.
With a hat on your head, man. And like, and the one thing about her house, it used to be so hot.
Hell.
Like, and like
Sauna.
it was a sauna.
It was
And the thing
hell.
about her house, it's one of the old houses in our hometown. And like, it had no central air and heat. So it was not insulated at all. So it was, she always preached about the cold, but man, she kept it so hot in her house. Sean, what's one of your earliest memories or favorite memories of Grandma?
Just spending time with her, watching Murder She Wrote and Golden Girls and Matlock, MacGyver, all the good shows. Eating her bread pudding.
Mm.
She made the best mashed potatoes.
Man, you are not lying. Like, and you know, I'm disappointed because none of our mothers know how to make her recipe, and I'm very
No,
disappointed.
it's just mashed potatoes, and they just can't do it right. I can't do it right anymore either.
Nah, it's
I like
some.
all the time.
She put some crack in that stuff or something. Like, I don't know what that is. Like it's something about those, what you call it, and Dad's mom. I'm gonna yield this to you, but I think that like she always wanted us to be close as a family, you know. And I think one of our last big memories I have was that she made me and you breakfast. Remember that? She made me and you breakfast at one time, like for the grandboys.
She did.
Yeah, She made like
Don't
homemade.
remember.
She made like
I guess
homemade
you know.
biscuits and sausage and everything. And she wanted just me with Thorn too, but wanted all three of us to come on. And she made breakfast for us. She made some biscuits. Yeah, I remember that.
I don't remember that one. I do have a memory of her making like, and this is one of the. If we go to her house, just this ain't nothing special. It's just stuff that just regular occurrences at grandma's house. Her tea cakes when she was a little bit younger. Her tea cakes, so it was fresh out the oven. She got to an age where she couldn't cook like she usually did, but she would have tea cakes in there all the time. And if she didn't have tea cakes ready and you was hungry, she had a freezer full of banquet
Yep.
pie ready for your consumption at any moment. I love them bakers, boy. They couldn't miss me. Not with the chicken and the turkey. No.
Man, and it's crazy because Liska and I grew up in the projects, and our grandma was old school, so we wasn't used to like some of the cooking. And no offense to you, Mama, love you, but like we wasn't used to like the good home cooked old fashioned meals and stuff like that. Like, let me tell you, like my mama bought us like because we would go there every weekend, and I used to hate going to grandma's house every weekend. But my mom would send us food to go over there because grandma did not eat like we did growing up. And I never see somebody get like a Tortino's or like a box, like a frozen pizza, and cook it on top of the stove. And I didn't know. I've never seen that to this day. She got a whole man. Let me tell you, she was a trendsetter. Like I figured, and it's crazy because out of all the grandchildren, Tiffany was the baddest. Like she used to do all the she played pranks on our grandma. Can y'all believe that? Tiffany played pranks.
You and Thor were the best.
No, grandmama used to fuss a lot of Calvin and Thorne at one point.
They used to,
Yeah,
used
we
to
stop.
tell grandma,
I hear
because
Licia in my head.
huh?
Y'all just tell the story. Y'all, Tiffany,
See,
tell the story of how bad that me and Thorne were.
they used to like put hot sauce in her water, drop fireballs. My grandma had this. I don't know. She always had like this cup that she would always carry. Like, this is the best water. I don't care where. I don't know what she did with the water. She actually boiled the water, tea kettle water. This water was elite. I promise you. Calvin and Thorne used to drop fireballs, hot sauce in the water. I mean, she'd just take a big gulp. And then the way she would never get mad. She would
Yes,
never
she
get mad.
would.
She would never.
She would. Now y'all keep
No,
playing with me.
Thorne used to call her oldness. And one day, Grandma would reply back, "Hey, young, dumb, and stupid." She spoke to me, "Hey, oldness, hey, oldness, hey, young, dumb, and stupid." And I was just like, never heard Grandma roast anybody. What did y'all do to this woman? She's the sweetest soul.
The sweetest soul because even though me and my sister actually committed Grand Theft Auto one time at grandmama's house, we stole her car and drove.
That
No.
was so Calvin.
We stole her car and drove it into the house. And look, I don't even remember that, and I didn't know that's why she had the wooden little thing on the air conditioner the whole time. Did y'all know that? Desmond
Yeah.
Tiffany.
I was very
That's why she. That's why she had the wooden thing under the air conditioner because we tore it off because we drove the car.
When did that happen?
I don't remember it. I don't remember doing it. They told me I stole the car and everything.
4 or
How
5
old?
years old.
Oh my
My
God,
mama,
yeah. I'm
my
like,
mama
y'all
was
had been
taking us to.
really good.
I don't remember.
Tell the
So
little boy who stole his grandma's car and said, "Cause I like to be bad."
I was doing bad things with my friends.
That was my mom's irresponsible fault. She was taking us to daycare, and then she put us both in the front seat in the driver's side. And Grandma,
Oh,
so Calvin was jumping, just playing and jumping. He wasn't buckled up, and it knocked the gear off, and it went straight into the house. And I was like trying to hurry up and hit the brakes on the ground with my hand. It was a bad.
I'm
man,
glad this generation learned not to leave their kids in the car by themselves.
Yeah,
The same thing happened to me and Christine. Mama left me and Christine in the car by ourselves, and Christine shifted it into gear or whatever, and it started moving at the gas station, but it got stopped in time.
even though me and Thorne put her through so much trouble, uh, like Alicia said, that she was just a kind soul. And that kind of shows you kind of testament, even though that everyone depended on her and everyone threw all their drama and all this stuff with her. Like she still made sure that we were taken care of. And like, okay, you can't. This is not for me and Luster because we're disqualified for this question. But how many times can you say that y'all stayed at Grandmommy's house, like just in an emergency? Like, how many times y'all stayed at Grandmommy's house?
You
It's
might as
like,
well count how many stars in the sky.
I know, right?
We were always over there. We always
You
had
might as well count how many banquet pot pies was eaten.
No, you know what? You know what? You know what? I think the only person who has not stayed at Grandma's house for more than a month is Tiffany.
We lived there for a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah,
Oh, they
yeah.
did before the house was
No,
Uh,
count. You got to count it by how many times you done watched episodes of Diagnosis Murder,
oh
Golden
no.
Girls,
Walker.
and Touched by an Angel
Right.
with Grandmama.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
Angel.
Touched by an Angel was the show.
Walker
Uh,
Texas Ranger
yeah,
was her
yeah.
show.
Walker. Yeah, Walker was. Yeah.
Love that
Look,
black
me and
man.
Liz can give
Oh,
you.
Walker.
We can give you the whole Saturday night spiel. Like
Lionel.
that was
Apollo.
Apollo. Apollo is the last
But
thing you see before you go to sleep.
that was
Dr.
but she
Quinn, Medicine
but
Woman.
she
No, MASH was the last thing you saw before she told you need to go to bed.
Oh yeah, it was no,
right.
it was Apollo then Mash. It was Apollo then Mash because you heard Mash. It was time to go to sleep. Apollo came on then, but then it'll be Walker Texas Rangers, Golden Girls, and then like what came after that?
Touched by the Angel.
Just my
Touched by the
Angel,
Angel.
the District, and yeah, PAX 21. I remember. And then if you go over there during the week, it's her room always hot, and then you'll watch Supermarket Sweep. Like, for real.
I remember Touched by an Angel.
When you are
All I can hear is theme songs.
that, and you know, we used to confuse me and like not to knock our religion, but like we went to a more like suburban like church. But
I mean,
Like
Grandma always had the most soulful like gospel music playing in the house. So like all the stuff you hear, like you know, we heard about.
Haley Jackson.
There you go.
KOKA.
Yep.
KOKA. Woo. So yeah, we're showing you how much our grandma meant to us because, as you can hear, she really played a pivotal role in our life. So we're gonna have more about our grandmother, Bertha Hamilton. Her birthday is this week, so we're gonna have more celebrating her and her grandchildren, as you can see on the other side of the break. Make sure you stay tuned to the Straight Up Show podcast.
I think straight up means to be able to speak in a way that is straight up, to be honest, and to speak your truth.
Raw, uncut, you know what I mean? It's blunt, you know, straight to the point. This is what it is.
It's just a place to be open and honest, and that's what I appreciate most about it. And it provides a place for community members to come together and just be straight up with each other about things that are going on in the world because it affects all of us.
Unfiltered, raw, with all the cursing that Calvin does.
Straight up is just being real, telling it like it is, you know, being you.
Being solid, being who you are, no matter what it is, no matter what situation you're faced with, right? This is who you are. It really speaks to me saying it is what it is and it ain't what it ain't. Straight up.
Voting. It's a right, a privilege, and a responsibility. Many have made the ultimate sacrifice just so we could have the ability to vote on what we believe is best for us and our community. So, we here at Straight Up ask you to do your research, let your voice be heard, and be proud to say, I straight up voted.
Today we are celebrating Grandmommy's grandchildren's party. This is the week that my grandmother Bertha Hamilton was born. As you can tell, today we have my cousins, her grandchildren, talking about all that she's done for us and their favorite memories of their grandmother. I think another memory that we all know, that no matter what she did, every single day, she always wrote. Y'all remember that?
Yep.
And even to this day, she still has like, I promise you, I think we need to put her journals in a museum somewhere, because she has stacks and stacks, stacks and stacks and stacks of journal entries that, like, wow, like, and funny enough, that's one reason why I have this podcast, because always speak your mind, speak what you want to feel. And actually, I started journaling. I'm not Tiffany. I could be wrong about this, but was she maybe an inspiration for you to start writing the way you do? Because Tiffany is a published author and a poet.
In a way, yes, she really inspired me to journal my thoughts. I have a hard time actually sharing them, out loud. But she also inspired my second poetry book, Face and Embrace Yourself, because she always taught us that instead of running away from, what you're feeling or what's happening, to actually face them, see why you're upset, see why you're sad, see why you're feeling manic or anything like that, so that you can actually get the help you need to be able to fix or help with any of those.
I kind of felt that same way, and I think that, and I've always thought that was the reason why you became a poet or author, because maybe you were inspired by that. But I'm glad to see that she did inspire your other book too, as well. Um, so she's done a lot for this family, and I think that a lot. She just knew everybody's pain for some reason. Like, she always wanted us to stay together. She always wanted her family to be together. Did y'all ever understood why she wanted to vote so much?
She came from a time where she didn't really have her full rights, and we still don't have our full rights. But she understood how powerful her vote was towards progress in this country for her people, for everyone, but especially for her people who lacked certain freedoms.
Yeah, I remember us voting for the Barack Obama election, the first round. It was so important for us to do it, because we thought it was far fetched. She was like, "This man is not going to be president of the United States," and she was like, "But you're going to vote," and she really pushed that. And I remember when he was elected, I will never forget her reaction. I was so glad to be in that room um, when she saw he won the presidency. I was about 7 months pregnant with my son, my firstborn, and she said, "When my grandson is born, great grandson is born, there's going to be a black man that's going to be sitting in the office of the presidency of the United States. He could be the president of the United States. He has, if he wanted to. That's a realistic goal, if that's what he wanted to see a black man with that much power." It was just, she was elated. The TV was in the kitchen at the time.
Yeah, you're right.
And,
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
when they came out on that stage, you should have seen her. Only time I've seen her being harder than that is probably when I decided to get baptized and when I graduated college. But that was a big deal for her. Both of those were good memories for her. So to have that memory with her, man, I'll cherish that forever.
Yeah, and I think that, like I said, look, I remember that I remember exactly where I was at in the kitchen. Like, we had TV on the table, kitchen table, and just I remember just standing over her and just like, I'm like, do I cry too? Or because y'all have to understand, like Sean alluded to earlier, was that, you know, our grandmother lived in a time to where not only could she not vote because of the color of skin, but because of her gender, and to sit there and vote for the first black man in America to be a person of color in America to be president, that was a sight not only for her, but for women and men like her alike to see that. And I think that what makes it more special was that was my first time ever voting. And to have, her name is Bertha, my name is Calvin. So when we were voted at the local polling place, like, to have my signature under her signature, like, that would forever be in my memory, because like that's why I they can't legally say it, but that's why like I enjoyed going to be registered at that precinct because like I get a chance to have my name under somebody that lived this life of not being able to vote. And like y'all have, and my cousins and my sister can tell you that there wasn't a election that she did not go vote for. And even to
It could be a
even to
proposition.
propositions, local elections, every race that she had was important. We had was important. So much so, even the year that she passed away, she was still going to go vote, even though she was sick. And that's kind of where we're going to talk about next. She did pass away in 2016, and that was a trying time for us and our family because this was our matriarch, and like she was our glue that held us together. Sean, what was your lasting memory of Grandmommy?
Around the time when we realized she was dying, when they made that decision for her to get hospice care, I remember her grabbing my hand and holding it really tight. That was when they made the final decision to go that route. She was very aware. I remember for some reason John, what is that? You heard that song from Imagine?
John Lennon.
Yeah. For some reason
Mhm.
that song was playing in the house.
Yep.
I don't know why I'm holding on to that memory, but I remember her sitting there in the middle of the living room and that song playing and her looking really somber or whatever. Also, I remember I had left the house at some point, but she never forgot to say, don't forget to pray.
Love you. Don't forget to pray.
Wow, yeah.
Hmm.
Love you. Don't forget to pray. That was how she signed, because she
Hmm.
signed every time she you left her. I love you. Don't forget to pray.
Hmm. That was just one of my final memories before she was bedridden.
Tiffany, same question to you. What was your last memory of Grandmommy?
I guess the one that I hold on to the most was, and this was before the hospice. It was me and her sitting in the front of the house, and we were just taking time listening to like everything around us, enjoying the breeze and the trees and just nature, just sitting on the front porch. She loved trees. She loved nature, and I gave her a picture that I took at Southern Hills because I used to love walking around that park and taking pictures of trees, and she loved that picture. And I remember because it's associated with that same memory. They had started doing some clearing or work after she passed at that park to thin out the trees and stuff, and that scene that I gave her with the trees and the vines and that light, it was like ruined because it was one of the areas they thinned out, and how that like devastated me. Like grandmommy's gone, that area is gone. I mean, that was in my head, that was my area that reminded me of her. But I just loved that moment that we just were. There weren't really like any deep conversations or anything. We were just in the moment.
It looks good. Same thing. Like, what was your last memory of Grandmommy?
Um, her send off was probably my last memory. It was the most beautiful send off that I think any human being could have wanted, because she was surrounded by her family, people. She wasn't alone. Um, and you could feel the love. People would stop by and come see her and um, just enjoy her. But during that time, I remember our last Thanksgiving, and one of her kids kept fussing at me because she wasn't eating a whole lot at that time. She stopped kind of eating. But I have Grandmommy's dressing recipe. I know it. I got it. I can do it almost exactly like hers. And I made some dressing, and she kept going, "Go give me some more dressing. Come give me some more dressing. Go give me some more." They said don't feed her too much because she was sick at that time. And she looked over at me and she goes, "Now, I'm their mama. You don't listen to them. Go give me some more dressing." So um I gave her as much as she wanted. That's what she wanted. She got really bad after that, but her send off was so beautiful. I just if when I go, I want to be like that. Just to know that I am going to be sent off with love, because she knew her family was there. We were all spending the night on the floor because we didn't know. They kept telling us tomorrow is going to be her last day. Tomorrow's going to be her last day, and she actually passed away. Um, they were they were really dead set saying my son's birthday was going to be the day that she passed. His birthday's December 7th, and my son went in the room and talked to Granny and said, "Granny, please don't die today. It's my birthday." And we kind of just laughed, and she let out a chuckle. That was the last time I heard her voice. She said, "Huh." So I knew she heard him, and she didn't die on his birthday. She passed away 2 days later on December 9th. And that's one of my favorite memories of Grandmommy.
And one thing that we forgot to mention, and I can't believe we didn't, like, because you mentioned her send off was really good, but our grandma, she could dress. Like, she had us when I say casket sharp dress at church, like, I've never seen somebody that would dress like just really went all out for church. Because I don't know if it's because of the way they grew up, but like to see her to be so sick and then in her casket, she was just like decked out. Like, that's grandmommy. That's grandmommy. Like, and y'all got to figure out, like, our grandmother is one of the strongest people that I know, because usually when you go to hospice, you don't come out. But she went in the hospice and she came out, So that was that, and both our grandmothers did it. Let's go, which is kind of crazy. But grandma went to hospice one time and she came out and was better. I'm like, wow, you just, like, are you trying to buy us more time with you or something? But it was crazy how she went to hospice again. She went to hospice and came back out and was just, wanted to go on her home. And the Dasmine, I want to ask you as well, like, Dasmine, what's your last memory of Grandmommy?
I remember going to see her. She was on hospice. She was in her room, in her home, in her bed, and she could barely move. She could barely keep her eyes open, and but she was looking at me, and I think we all knew, not even in like a spiritual sense, but like medically, there really isn't much more time that we have left with her. So I went into that room to say goodbye to her, and but I didn't become all the things that she wanted me to be within a time frame that she wanted, or have the beliefs that she had. But I just thanked her for being my grandmother and giving me the lessons that I could learn with her. When I spoke to her, I could look at her and tell that she wanted to say something back, and that look in her eye kind of stays with me, just wondering what did she want to say to me. Yeah, that's my last memory of her.
It's lessons like that. I think that with all of us is kind of like, and no shade to our own mothers, but I think that she just has a power that nobody else has in our family. And I think that all of us, we wanted to know if we made her proud, especially me, because I always felt like I was her arch nemesis, because I was the Like, and all four of y'all can tell everybody that I was not the easiest person to be around. Still not. Still to this day, not the easiest person to be around. But and I gave my whole family hell. I'm not gonna lie, a lot, and especially her, putting like fake snakes in the garden, fire bombs in her water, making like a prank cake, a lot of stuff. So I was not the best child growing up, and it was as we wrapped the show up, I wasn't the best child. I'm not gonna lie about that. I was the adolescent child, had some personal issues with family going on. And it was her faith in me to take a chance on me, because I was going down a bad road. I was running away from home, a lot of stuff. And she did something, and I'm not trying to throw this in y'all's face, but she helped me get my first car. She said if I graduate high school, I get my first car. And I didn't believe her. I was the bad grandchild. But for some reason, she took a chance on me. And when she did that, it made me feel like I had to do better in my life, because it made me question, why are you helping me out? I've always been the worst grandchild. Why are you helping me out? And when she did that, I don't know if you can hear me, Grandmommy, that changed my life, because it made me want to do better in life. And when she did that, I was able to get a better job, go to college, and I wanted to make her proud. My last memory of her was she lost I think she was under 100 pounds at this point. And I remember her last words to me, because I was like, you know what? I said, Grandmommy, I'm going to graduate college for real. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Because I didn't want to go to college. I hated college. But I did it. And her last words to me, I'm going to stay alive long enough to see you graduate. She died the Friday before I graduated college. And I really felt like that was like her last, like, gotcha, because it's just because I graduated that following Friday, and we had to bury her the very next day. So that was already an emotional roller coaster as well. But like, that's my last memory of her. Said her last words to me, I'm gonna stay alive long enough to see you graduate college. And like, she didn't, but it was just special to graduate college and bury her the very next day. So it's like, you still got to see me graduate college, and we buried you. So that's my last memory of our grandma. And like, I'm pretty sure all of us are getting emotional right now, because that's our grandma. We still hold her to hold her near and dear to our heart. And before we wrap this show up, I want to ask y'all right quick, if you can remember one thing about grandmama, something that she's taught you that would forever live on with you, what would be that memory, Sean?
For me, it's not to hold too hard of feelings towards anybody that does you wrong. Move on with your life and overcome whatever evil deeds or that people might do to you. Don't worry about them.
For me, it's definitely mental health awareness. That was something she struggled with. That's something she educated her family about. It's something we all, I don't know, I can't claim it, but I've struggled with it. And her mental health plight was definitely one. It's a story of itself, but she overcame it. She did what she had to do because she really fought hard to keep her sanity. And I think that's why she was so just the way she was, because if you can keep your sanity the way she had to and still deal with your family, still deal with the world, being a single mother, single grandmother, single great-grandmother, that's nothing but strength. And that's what I remember Grandmommy for, her mental health fight.
One lesson that I learned from her, that worrying is a sign of absence of faith. That's the biggest thing I learned from her.
Being stubborn can actually be a positive thing. If Grandmommy wanted it, she got it. She figured out a way.
Yeah.
When I'm like struggling or if I see a breakthrough to something, I'm like, yeah, I did it like her mom. I wanted it, and I got what I needed to do, did what I needed to do. I was stubborn, and she would be proud of me.
I think what I learned the most from her is kind of like what Sean said, just be nice to people. Like, people are gonna do you wrong your whole life. Just be nice to them. And I try my hardest to live that way, because so many people do you wrong in this world today. It's so hard to turn the other cheek. And even if the people do you wrong, you try to do your best by them. Trust me, I'm still learning today is that in everything that all my cousins and my sister said, that's who she was. You know, she was far from perfect, but she understood that nobody was perfect. And the only thing that kind of matters to me was that what's missed the most is that you can dial her phone number, you can call her, and she will always pick up. And no matter if you were short on bills or you had girlfriend problems, she always knew what to say to you, you know, and that is missed the most. But I think that if she were here right now, she would be proud of all y'all. Because I know that, you know, nobody's ever going to be where they want to be in life right now. But I think that with the daughters and sons that she raised and that she helped raise us, I think that she'd be very proud of what all of y'all have been doing. I know as a cousin and a brother to y'all, I'm very proud of what y'all been doing. So I think that if she was still here, she would be proud of all of us. So I want to thank all my cousins, Eliska, Dasmond, Sean, Dominique, Thorne, Christine, Catherine, all y'all. Thank y'all so much for not being here, but I'm not being here, but thank y'all for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you
Thank
for
you so
having
much.
us.
Thank you for having me. Proud of you.
Your mama would be proud of you too.
Thank you. You know, even though I was she probably wouldn't like me. We probably still be butting heads right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. Probably so. I'm still the.
Oh yeah, grandma could, but we still
I'm
butt
still
heads.
the. Yeah, I'm still
You know, she had her ways.
Yeah.
But she would support you.
He was my fellow Scorpio.
And it's her birthday, so Grandmommy, your birthday is at the end of this week, so I want to say happy birthday, Grandmommy.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Grandmama. Happy birthday.
Love you.
Yeah. So, and before I go, I just wanted to say this. You know, I want to give you thanks, Grandmommy, because it's reasons the way you were towards me that really shaped my life, and for me to be vocal with this podcast and speak my mind and speak what I want is about life. I owe this podcast to you because you taught all of us to be fearless and if speak your mind, and if not, you can't write it out, speak it out. So I forever am grateful for you, and I thank you so much. It's been hard letting you go because I'll never forget you making a sacrifice. Not giving up on somebody like me, because I just wanted somebody to hear me, Grandmommy. So thank you for always listening to me and hearing me and telling me just if nobody's listening to you, just still speak your mind. So thank you for giving me a chance and not giving up on me, because I don't think none of us would be here if you gave up on us, and all we needed in life was somebody like you to give us a chance. So thank you. And I promise you, I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to live that same motto in life because I don't want to give up on anybody. I'd love to give people chances, and even if they do you wrong, still give them a chance. So I want to say thank you. And it's been hard letting you go, but we still here and we're still going to make you proud. So I want to give you thanks, so much thanks. And I had to do this podcast for you because this is our final season, and I don't want to leave this without telling the people about who you were and where I come from, because I come from the same blood as you. I come from the same blood as these people on this podcast. So once again, thank you so much, Bertha Hamilton, for being in our lives and impacting the lives and being the most straight up person I've ever met in my life. So it's with that being said, yeah, big boy cried, ain't gonna lie, cried. So what? It's my grandma. I cry for her any day. But with that being said, that's the end of our show. Now you know. This is straight up. We're being straight up with our emotions and stuff like that. Once again, thank you to my cousins for actually being vulnerable and coming on the show to talk about our grandmother. We're just as proud as her, and we wear our badge, our grandmommy's grandchildren's parties badge. We used to have a bunch of them, but we got that one that does and still has. But thank you so much once again for listening to our lives and being personal. Until then, make sure you go to our website. We have new merch out right now. This is our final season, so make sure you get caught up with all the old episodes. You can go to our website at straightupshowpodcast.com. That's STR8upshowpodcast.com. Special shout out to Lorie. Lorie Pennywell. She is one of our sponsors today. So Lorie, thank you so much. If you want to be a supporter like Lorie, you go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/straightupshowpodcast 318. That's patreon.com/straightupshowpodcast 318. Until then, there's only one rule to our show. You gotta be
Straight up.
All right, see y'all soon.